Hey folks, this is Brant from grogheads.com, and here comes another great episode of No Enemies Here.
Stuka Joe is going to ConSim World Expo in Tempe, Arizona from June 23rd to June 30th. He's signing up for some games to play, bringing his own version of a game, and doing some filming so people like me who can't go there will live vicariously through him. Grant and Alexander of The Player's Aid are doing an unboxing of Armageddon War with all its expansions from Flying Pig Games. This is a game designed by Mark H. Walker. Flying Pig Games, these guys are kicking hiney! They also have another video in which they review Armageddon War. Jacine of Chits and Cats is doing an unbagging of Herman Luttman's Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi, published by Tiny Battle. Wayne Hansen does a Let's Play Longstreet Attacks, the second day at Gettysburg, Assault on Emmitsburg Road. This is a game by Revolution Games, a game designed by Herman Luttman. Worthington Publishing, Grant Wiley is giving you his June 14th update. Heavy Cardboard, Combat Commander Europe, 2-player playthrough, teaching, and roundtable discussion. Combat Commander is designed by Chad Jensen, and it is a tactical level war game. Also a weekly look ahead of June 11th, 2018. The Centurion Review does a playthrough of a Task Force double game printed in 1979. The games are Survival and The Barbarian. These games are designed by Ian Livingston and Bob McWilliams. Bonding with Board Games, the Chief is unboxing The Battle of Britain by Richard Borg from PSC, Plastic Soldier Company. It's funny that this comes up now because I was actually just gifted this by my good friend and game designer, Carl Parazzi. Agosti Barrio Ruiz is finishing off Starter Kit number 2 gameplay. Number 6, this is the final of the Advanced Squad Leader Starter Kit. This video is in Spanish. The original Grognard. Hey, welcome back. That was my imitation. The original Grognard's got a few videos out on Ambush, a Victory Games game designed by Eric Lee Smith and John Butterfield. He's doing Scenario 2, Advance on Chazul. The Gimpy Gamers continuing with that Magnus Opus, Lock and Load's Tactical Rule Set version 5.0. Nate is continuing with more explanation on the rule set, including mounting, dismounting, etc. Okay, since the Gimpy Gamer's been doing this Lock and Load Tactical Core rule set thing for the last few weeks, and that's a hell of an undertaking, Gimpy. Anyways, top left picture of that core rule set rule book, that's Charles Cabb. But below Charles Cabb of Historical Wargaming, Historical Gaming. Sorry, Charles.
Hey guys, this is Charles with Historical Gaming, and you're watching No Enemies Here and getting the most recent wargaming news. Take care.
But below Charles Cabb, that Japanese gentleman, I know who he is. Do you? If you know, please let me know in the comments. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flash up the core rules booklet picture and do my best editing, zoom in so you can see. Also, a review through of Cataclysm, a Second World War. This is a game designed by Scott Muldoon and William Tedoslavich. The artists are Charles Keebler, Terry Leeds, and Roger B. McGowan. Published by GMT. He's also continuing his review through of Gato Leader, a game designed by Dan Verson and published by DVG. Not to be outdone by the Gimpy Gamer, Gimpy's Gal guesses Wings of Glory. Wings of Glory World War II Battles of Britain starter set. This came out in 2017. The designers are Andrea Angiolino and Pier Giorgio Paglia. The artists are Vincenzo Aluetta and Dario Calli. The game is published by Ares Games. Jeff McAleer of the Gaming Gang takes a first look at Fort Sumter, The Secession Crisis, a game designed by Mark Herman.
Have a good one. Bye.
And published by GMT. Blast Pop does a component overview and commentary of Fighting Formations, Gross Deutschland, Motorized Infantry Division, a game designed by Chad Jensen and published by GMT. Decision Games, River Plate and Denmark Strait. This is a new release in their Folio series. Battle of River Plate simulates the naval encounters between the German Panzerschiff Admiral Graf Spee and the British Royal Navy cruiser HMS Exeter, Ajax, and Achilles on the 13th of December 1939. The Battle of Denmark Strait simulates the encounter between the German battleship Bismarck and a British squadron on the 24th of May 1941. The contents are a 17 by 22 inch terrain map, 98 die counters, and one 8-page system rule booklet, plus exclusive scenario rules. Vikings, Scourge of the North. This is a solitary game. You lead a band of warriors with their ships and weapons. Units represent historical Viking leaders such as Leif Erikson and Harald Hardrada. The game contains one 11 by 17 inch map, 40 die counters, 18 campaign cards, and an 8-page rules booklet. Rogers Rangers, America's First Commandos. This is a game on the French and Indian Wars of 1754 to 1763. The solitary game is part of the Raider game system. You command Ranger forces conducting missions as directed by strategy cards. You recruit leaders like Robert Rogers and units including historical Rangers companies and British light infantry, then purchase weapons and tools to equip them. The game comes with one 11 by 17 inch map, 40 die-cut counters, 18 campaign cards, and a 4-page system rule book, plus exclusive scenario rules. Hawaii 1795, Kamehameha's War of Unification. A 2-player game. The counters represent warriors, musketeers, pikemen, elite guards, cannons, and canoes. Mechanics are based on the ancient war system. The game comes with one 11 by 17 inch map, 40 die-cut counters, 18 campaign cards, and a rules booklet. Red Eagles, Air War over the Kuban Peninsula, 1943. The Red Air Force challenges the Luftwaffe in a series of air battles over the Kuban bridgehead in early 1943. This is a 2-player game in the Air War series. Units represent one or more Soviet air regiment or German Gruppen. The game comes with a one 11 by 17 inch map, 40 die-cut counters, 18 campaign cards, and a 4-page system rule booklet, plus exclusive scenario rules. Multi-Man Publishing, Hatton in Flames, Alsace, France, January 1945. This is an Advanced Squad Leader historical module. Hatton in Flames has 8 scenarios and 2 campaign games, and it focuses on the first 5 days of the fighting inside of Hatton. The game contains a box and a lid, one 38 by 32 inch map, 2 counter sheets, chapter HF rules, 8 ASL scenarios, 2 campaign games, and 2 chapter dividers. The map that is shown here is a playtest map. Also from MMP, Advanced Squad Leader, Red Factories. This is a game that has 2 modules, Red Barricades plus Red October. Red Factories includes 4 maps, 8 counter sheets, 4 chapter dividers, Chapter O expanded to include Red October, 7 campaign games, 4 for Red Barricades and 3 for Red October. There are 21 scenarios in this historic Advanced Squad Leader modules, 14 for Red Barricades, 7 for Red October. GMT, Beneath the Med, Italian Submarines at War, 1940 to 1943. This is a game designed by Gregory M. Smith, the designer of The Hunters, Silent Victory, and The Hunted. Beneath the Med is a solitaire tactical level game placing you in command of an Italian submarine during World War II. This is the 4th game in the Hunter series and covers the largest submarine fleets in the world at that time. What comes with this game is 1 1/2-inch full color counter sheet, 1 3/4-inch wide full color counter sheet for targets, rule booklets with designer notes, 6 player aid cards, 5 submarine display mats, 1 submarine patrol map, submarine combat mat, submarine patrol log sheet, 3 6-sided, 2 10-sided dice, and 1 20-sided die, and a box and a lid. Average playing time, 2 to 3 hours. This is a solo game. The Dark Summer, Normandy 1944. This is a Ted Racier game. The Dark Summer, Normandy 1944 is the latest in Ted Racier's World War II operational series that began with the Dark Valley, the East Front campaign 1941 to 1945. The game uses a chip pull activation system that determines both the order and type of each side's action during the game's 10 action-packed turns, covering June 6 to August 21st, 1944. The components: 1 22 by 34-inch large hex map, 352 5/8 of an inch counters, a rulebook, 5 player aid cards, and 2 6-sided dice. The game scale: units are regiments and brigades. The time is a quarter month per turn. The map: 2.3 miles per hex, and players 1 to 2. The maps and components that we see here are for playtesting purposes. Compass Games, Lebensraum, The War for Europe, 1941-1945. Lebensraum is a grand strategic moderate complexity game of the war between Nazi Germany and the Allied nations, starting with the German invasion of Russia in late June of 1941 through the final battles to Berlin in 1945. The game includes both East and West fronts and can be played in a number of small 3 to 13 turn historical scenarios, starting with Barbarossa in the East and Italy in the West, or in campaigns for each front individually, or a combined East and West front campaign. This game is a new edition of the Simulations Canada games of Lebensraum and West Front. Complexity medium, time scale 3 months per turn, the map scale 50 miles or 80 kilometers per hex, the unit scale Army Group. This is a 2-player game, solitaire suitability is very high, playing time is 3 to 16 hours, the designer is Stefan Newberg, and the graphic design is by Ilya Kurdyashov. The game comes with 3 maps, total playing surface of 50 by 35 inches, 3 counter sheets of 9/16 of an inch counter, 4 player aid cards, a rule and scenario book, 2 dice, and a box and a lid. John Krantz is live with Compass Games Episode 6, telling you what's new, what's gonna be new, and what's gonna be released. Legion Wargames, Miracle at Dunkirk, The British Withdrawal from France, May to June 1940. This is a solitaire game designed by Herman Luttman. Miracle at Dunkirk is a solitaire game. The map scale is point to point, unit size, battalions to divisions, and the time scale 8 hours per turn. Complexity is medium. Solitaire suitability obviously is very high, it being a solo game. But it can be played with 2 people. The components. The game map, 22 by 25.5 inch map. The game counters, 0.75 by 1 inch unit counters and 0.75 markers. A 20-page rulebook, 50 standard event cards, that is 50 standard sized event cards, 2 8.5 by 11 player aids, and it comes with 3 scenarios. Let's get a bit dramatic here and have a little bit of a history lesson. In May of 1940, the German army invaded Holland, Belgium, and France. In a matter of a few weeks, they rolled up the combined armies of Belgium, France, and England. The British Expeditionary Forces and other nearby Allied forces were forced to retreat towards the French coast, resulting in about 400,000 men being surrounded near the town of Dunkirk. Rescue operations commenced to evacuate these forces to England, and Winston Churchill, the new Prime Minister of Great Britain, was hopeful that perhaps 30,000 men could be rescued from the trap. Admiral Sir Bertram Ramsay was put in charge of Operation Dynamo, the goal of which was to send ships of all sizes and shapes to evacuate these beleaguered soldiers from the beaches of France and Belgium. Through skill, efficient planning, and poor German coordination, along with some fortuitous luck, the operation was able to rescue an incredible 330,000 men from the pocket. A true military miracle had been performed, and by doing so, the future of the Second World War was forever altered. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is drama.
Daniel asked me to answer some questions on an iPhone and send it to him. So I said, what the heck, I wasn't doing much today. I apologize. I'm kind of holding this thing and looking at the screen to see what the questions are. So here it is. That's an interesting one. I think the game for me that really, the first game that I did that I really felt really connected to, proud of, felt like I had really done something special, I think was the Pacific War by Victory Games. When I did that, I think it's 1985. So I think that would be the first one. I mean, Richard's a dear friend, and I've been his best man at one of his weddings. And let's see, here's a quick story. So we were staying at a game convention once, and Richard, we were sharing a room, and Richard's on one queen size bed, I'm on the other one, and there was a couple of folks, crashing on the floor. So, and there was this guy named Brian, who sadly has passed away since then, but Brian was snoring like, at volume. I mean, and he woke me up and woke Richard up. And Richard, for whatever reason in those days, was wearing at night this long, bright yellow nightshirt. You could see it like in the dark. So he gets up and he walks over, and you remember it's Richard, so he kind of shuffles over to him and he kicks Brian, to wake him up. And Brian doesn't wake up. So Richard starts, pummeling him, kicking him, and he still doesn't wake up. And Richard goes, oh, what the hell? And he goes back to bed. I remember that's kind of one of those moments between, going to game conventions and watching the weirdnesses go on. So there's one story. I think that you know, the traditional hex and counter games are, you know, they're a fixture and they will always be here. But I think that there's a lot of synergies, blending going on, and again, it's really about trying to tell a better story. And some of the Eurogame mechanics do a really fine job of helping you tell a narrative of history. So I've been embracing some of them. I've been inventing new ones, and I see the Eurogame guys, taking from us, like the card-driven game stuff. So, you know, I think that this synergy and blending is going to go on indefinitely. Well, I think that Volko is certainly, really trying to put, this. I'm fascinated to see what he does with this Nevsky game, where you're going to be, levying troops and having them run away. I think that's going to be kind of cool. So I see Volko is certainly a leader in that area, and he's young enough that he'll have many years of impact. No, well, in the sense that we'll all be dead, maybe. I don't know. But no, I got to be honest with you. If you look at, there's a really good podcast, Rally in the Valley, and these are 20-somethings, and they sound about as enthusiastic about wargaming as I was at that age. So, no, I don't see that. Oh my gosh. Neither, actually. I think, I actually met Rommel's G2 von Mellenthin, who wrote a book, Panzer Battles. He even signed my copy. So I know more about Rommel, but I hear Montgomery was kind of a weirdo, so neither one. Neither one. Actually, I'd like to meet both of them. So, see, I feel that since I didn't want to meet one or two, I get an extra one in three. So I would love to meet Da Vinci, and I would love to meet Oppenheimer. I actually know somebody who was in the room when Oppenheimer, talked about the fact that they had dropped the A-bomb. And anybody who says that he was upset, I was told that he danced onto the stage. So just for a historical fact from somebody who was in the room when it happened. So I've met Jagger. I was collecting bills for a bar when I worked for a newspaper, and he was hammered at the bar. Bob Dylan seems like a cool guy, but not particularly fond of either one that I would have to go see them. Shelby Foote or Stephen Ambrose. I'd like to meet both of those folks. I never met. I actually corresponded with Shelby Foote. We tried to get him to come to a convention once, but he said no. He doesn't do that, he said, and of course he's since passed away, so he's definitely. And Stephen Ambrose seems like a very talented writer, an interesting guy I'd like to talk to. This is easy, ballpoint, and the reason is I love the idea of a fountain pen, but I'm a lefty. And all I end up doing is smearing ink all over my hand in the paper, so ballpoint. Sitting Bull for sure. Well, first off, my wife's Italian, and I eat Italian food, more than half the time of my life, so I'm a major fan of Italian food. So I married an Italian, so, she's amazing, and the food is amazing, and I love Italian food. Scotch. That's not even close. Remember, bourbon is Scotch, only been through the blender once, as they say, the distiller once. I would meet either one of them. George C. Marshall, of course, was an amazing American, as was Grant. I guess if I had to make a choice, I'd say Grant because he was the president. The other one only made Secretary of State. But either way, great combo there. Uncle Mark. You can call me anything you want, but Uncle Mark, really? I have a bunch of kids who call me Uncle Mark, so yeah, sure, you want to call me Uncle Mark, call me Uncle Mark. Okay, the deed is done. Okay, I think that's it, and I'm running out of power anyway, so Dan, I wish you luck on your endeavor, and have a good one. Bye.
Consim World Expo 2018 featuring Monster Game Con 18, June 23rd to June 30th, 2018 in Tempe, Arizona. Check out the Grogheads live at Origin, giving you all the wargaming goodness that is featured at Origins.